Hi, everybody. So lovely to see you all. We've got a lovely small group today. Hi, Connie. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Joy. Hi, Louise. We have a special group today. So Kevin unfortunately can't join us. Here comes Susan. It really is lovely to see you all. So we will have a very small and intimate and happy time because we're going to be doing a healing practice today, which I'm very excited about doing. So I'm gonna run this in a slightly different way. Just before we start, because this whole meditation deals with healing, and particularly with the theta brain levels and working with bringing what is happening within the subconscious out. So bringing challenges out to work with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around everybody just for a moment and get you to just name a challenge, only in a second or two. So you don't need to spend too long on it. So I can name a challenge that I have. I'll start because I love doing this when there's a small number with a group. So the challenge I have at the moment is I am doing an enormous amount of traveling. So I'm going from Canada, and even to do today for me is quite lucky because I'm going to Canada on Sunday, then I'm going to Vancouver, then Toronto, then Montreal, then back to Toronto, then down to Sedona, then across to Monterey, then back to Sedona, then off to Los Angeles, then back to Vancouver, then off to after Japan, then over to London, then down to Amsterdam. I mean, I can go on and on. I know the routes pretty well, but it's going. And even when I'm back in Japan at the moment, I have, like today, I have people flying in to visit me. So I'm doing an enormous amount of healing work and sessions for people, which is a real joy. And it means that I have to manage carefully my family time because they often say, "Oh, do we have to book?" So I have this funny ongoing discussion with them. So I'm just curious. I'm going to go around you and just ask you to just name a challenge. So my challenge is, balance of time and place, particularly for family, because they're number one. So I'm making that a priority and wondering exactly how do I do this. So that's a good healing challenge. It's Connie, what about for you? What would your healing challenge be that you'd like to name, or you don't have to make it too personal. It can be general. Oh, there you go.
Well, first of all, I was looking at up there. There's a mama robin feeding babies in her nest on our neighbor's drain pipe. I was watching that, and it's so cute. Those little babies look up, and they've got those great big mouths open, and mama comes along and puts the food in. It's very cute.
Oh,
So
I
anyway,
love that. That's a
I've
good
been
healing moment. Mums.
yeah. I have many challenges, Stephen. Just so many. I don't know.
We can put them all in a pool. We can
I
maybe
don't know
put them.
where to begin. Um, let's see. Well, I guess one of my current challenges is um, just boundaries, like trying to like dealing with some people in my family who are having issues and trying to help, but trying not to let it drag me down too, if you know what I'm saying.
Totally, totally. No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so family members. I love that. Thank you, Connie. Thank you. I'll pass to Cindy, you're next. I'm just going to take a minute or so with each person just to kind of name a challenge because there's something really powerful about doing this together because we kind of hold each other. We're right now holding my challenge and now Connie's challenge. Okay, Cindy, what about you?
Staying focused and not being distracted, and going off on a bunch of tangents because
Oh,
there's so many things that grab your attention or my attention, and I can just go flit, flit, flit like a wildfire kind of,
yeah.
rather than a nice burning ember.
Oh, I love that. So family from Connie and focus from you. I like that. Being a burning ember. Wow, I'm going to go for that. I love it. Thanks, Cindy. That was brilliant. Wendy, you're next on my list.
I have physical health challenges, mostly dental and dental pain, bone loss, teeth loss. You could say all my problems are in my head.
Yep. That is it has many meanings if you say that. I love that. Yes, so physical. So we can see, I mean, we can all relate to these, right? We can relate to family, we can relate to focus or lack of focus, and we can relate to physical problems on all levels. Oh, thanks, Wendy. That's great. That's great to know that. Susan, one from you. And it can be the same as somebody else. It might be a different version of the physical.
Well, I was going to say almost all of the above. I am really struggling to focus at work. I have to track my time, so I only get to bill for the time that I'm actually focused and working. So I'm making like half the income I should be making right now because I'm also in the middle of moving from like a 600-mile distance by myself using a cargo trailer, doing a trip every weekend. It's a 2-month journey doing it this way. And still have grief brain from when Tracy passed in November. So, and self-care still isn't where it should be either. So I don't know what the biggest struggle is of those other than my mind's everywhere but where it should be.
Yeah.
Or where I need it to be.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautifully said. Yes, so focus, self-care, dealing with grief, all of that. Thank you so much. And make it and focus, like you said, focus, letting your mind settle where it could work best. I love that. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. That's really powerful. So, to Becca and Byron, just a challenge each.
We didn't hear the first part of it. We just joined in. So can you?
A challenge. So far, we're combining people. I'm doing a collective challenge and we've got family challenges with focus, physical challenges, self-care challenge around emotions like grief. So you could name one of those again, or you could say something else that somebody hasn't mentioned. We're just pulling our collective challenges for this healing practice that we're going to do.
Well, my challenges are all of the above, but I also have found just a whole new way of dealing with it. Besides just breathing, it's how I breathe and how I approach my day-to-day. And like I said, you're like a probiotic, but I also still have to balance my gut. So eating healthy and making sure that I find, that kind of, why does it get stressed?
Yeah. Love that. Thanks, Becca. That's wonderful. Especially breathing and balance. And Byron?
Brain and cognitive issues, clearly.
Clear brain cognitive issues. Yeah, I like that very much. That's just like a double pun. Clearly brain. Yeah, love that. Thank you. Then the next one I think was Amber.
Yeah, my challenge is feeling like I haven't lost out on time and I still have time to live out the life I desire and just being happy with where I'm at right now and remembering to take care of myself, do things for self-care.
Beautiful. That's a big one, right? Being happy right where we are. Yeah, I love that. Louise, I'm next up for you.
Go. Hi.
There you go. Hey.
Working on getting direction for my future. My life got disheveled last year with my husband's death, and I'm in the process of trying to put pieces back together.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully said. I'm sure your husband is listening right now and saying, I'm going to help you. It's right here. My session this morning was with somebody else who was in that same situation. So I'm very present to helping you put the pieces back together. Thank you for sharing that, Louise. Liz, you're next. And then Joy and Janet.
What am I next doing? What am I doing?
You're just naming a challenge. What's your biggest challenge at the moment?
Oh, I don't know. Not questioning things, maybe.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Letting things be.
Yeah, accepting things. Apparently,
love
I'm
it.
not good at that.
I love it.
I mean, accepting, like, receiving.
Yeah.
I have an issue with that. So anyway,
beautiful. I'm going to give you permission to receive. Love it.
Well, thank you.
Love it. Joy, you're next.
Low energy, dealing with stress, depression, and needing to get to my to-do list. Every day I just can't get to my to-do list, or I don't get very far in it. I need to wake up and get energy.
Yes, I know. What's the very first thing on your to-do list at the moment?
Learn my new computer.
What's your new computer?
MacBook Air.
I'm working on a MacBook Air. We'll have to all, if anybody's got any good MacBook Air links to learn MacBook Air, put them in the chat for Joy. I love that, because then we could start there's something wonderful about having a collective when we're working like this. So Joy, I'm going to manifest MacBook Air, insights for you as soon as we what would I say? As soon as we get onto this, I'm sure somebody's going to come up with something that would be helpful for the MacBook Air. You just got a new MacBook Air?
Yes, just about 4 or 5 days ago.
Okay. Let me just see if anybody's got anything that would be helpful. I'm going to throw something in here for you. It's called the top. I think it's called the first 15 things you should do on your new MacBook Air.
Is that a book or a YouTube?
No, it's a YouTube. I'll literally put it in the chat for you. There you go. Okay, and we're just up to the last, Janet. Yeah, if anybody mentions anything, and as a collective, because I've been into collective energies at the moment, if you want to put anything in the chat, please do. Janet, you're last up.
Looks like it's in the chat.
Thank you for. Janet said physical and mental health issues, would love more spiritual guidance, and thank you everybody for your share. Yeah, I totally echo that completely. Okay, wonderful. We are on to that. Actually, it's funny when something all of you may or may not need, but this will make you laugh. I'm just going to find this.
Did Garth get an opportunity to share?
Garth, thank you. Yeah, Garth, what's the challenge?
I had the same challenge getting my computer system set up. It just multiplied by factor of double.
Oh, you mean because you've got double the number of
computers, right?
Yeah, correct. Got it. We need more than one Garth, obviously.
But I also have a MacBook Air, which I love. So, but it just wasn't powerful enough, so I got a loaded up Mini instead.
Do you know, everybody, when I hear you talking about this, I'm going to put this in the chat just before we start. This is a link to a collective AI intelligence. It creates multiple versions of yourself to send out to function. So this would create another Garth who will be busily working on good ideas for his computer system while he's busy running this show.
Well, I'm actually editing another video while I'm running this show. So.
Oh, that's sweet. That's really lovely. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to dive into this. And look, thank you.
One more thing in there.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw one more thing in there. Let's all do for deep restorative sleep.
Did you say deeper, more restorative sleep?
Deep restorative sleep.
Oh, yes. Oh, dear. I've been speaking to probably every other client I've had this week has asked me for that as a wish list. I usually give them meditations to knock themselves out. So if you're into deep restorative sleep and this meditation knocks you for 6, then by all means stay asleep. All righty. So we're going to dive into this together. Now that we've got this is all about healing the blocks. And we'll let Connie's into a multiple version of Connie has entered the room. Maybe the AI version of Connie. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to get you to settle back. So this will be a little bit of a different meditation. It is called Healing the Blocks. And it does ask you to work with a specific block. And what I particularly want you to do as we begin this is to feel where the particular block you have sits in your body. So I want you to just to notice what happens when I say that to you. Some of you might feel, because I think when it was Wendy who said so beautifully, oh, this is more on my head, right? Or it's all in my head, which I loved because that kind of speaks to the power of this particular meditation. Where does your block lie? So if it's family, like Connie said, she's got many and it's family, or if it's to do with focus, or if it's physical, if it's self-care, where does that sit in your body? Sometimes emotions like grief might sit in our heart. Sometimes I think Becca said so beautifully, balancing my gut. So that'll obviously be sitting in your gut. Byron was saying brain cognitive issues, so that would be in his brain. So just notice what happens when you think about time to live out what you desire. So where does that sit in your body? Direction for the future might be in your head, right? Accepting things, so Liz's might be in her heart. Low energy might be in your gut. Where do all these, Garth's computer system might be in his head, whereas the deep restorative sleep that Byron wants could be in his chest, or it could be a whole body feeling. So just notice as we're beginning, and as you close your eyes, where the primary feeling for this energy sits in your body. And I just want you to rest there for a few moments. And as you begin, just drop that energy. So no matter where the block is in your body, I want you to allow that to drop down through and into your feet. And just be aware of your feet on the ground. because this meditation we're doing, healing the block, provides a framework for any self-healing and personal meditation. It's an awakened mind meditation, so it's a working meditation, one that's going to add beta brain waves back into your meditation patterns. So you're feeling into your feet, and you can feel the energy in your feet. You can actually press them on the ground. And then you can feel the energies flowing up your calves, up into your knees and thighs, up into your hips and belly, all the way up into your chest, shoulders, arms. Yeah. Just check in, flows down into your fingers. Even your fingers have got this potential for healing. Every single finger. And all the way up your arms into your shoulders and neck, to your chin. Really feel into your chin. Really bring this sense of relaxation, peace into your chin, your lips, your nose, and behind your eyes. The crown. And then feel this energy flowing all the way down the back of your head, the back of your neck, the back of your heart, back of your belly, root center, all the way down the back of your thighs, back of your calves, and into your feet. So you're really stilling your mind and relaxing your body and letting go of any preconception or expectation of any particular outcome or solution for this healing. Just being aware. That's all. Now I want you to consider finding the most beautiful healing space. This could be an outdoor sanctuary. It could be your meditation room. Wherever this healing space is, so I'm going to go into a pyramid of Giza, a light pyramid. You can go wherever you want, a healing space, a forest, a mountain, your own garden, meditation room. And I want you to really sensualize that first. I want you to feel what it's like to be there. So mine feels very bright and edgy and ready and awake. What does yours feel like? Maybe you can smell things. So I can smell a particular fire that I always smell when I'm in the pyramid space. A particular sandy smell, because it's the actual pyramid. What does it smell like in your space? And maybe there are sounds present in your healing space or your meditation room or your outdoor sanctuary. Maybe there you can see things. My vision is very clear, so I can see very clearly, and there's a crypt or right in the middle. Just what's in yours. You might taste things in this beautiful sanctuary, in this meditation room, this healing space. You might have other senses engaged. I have a deep gravitational sense in those pyramids. I also have a bit of an otherworldly connection to Sirius, the stars. So there's actually a directional sense that's very strong when I'm there. What's it like in yours? Are there other senses that waken up? You might be aware of other beings that are supporting you, like a collective of healing or guides or angels or aspects of yourself, other dimensions that come to support you. So right now they're coming into my room. I actually see them as light. So what comes into your healing space? What comes into your meditation room? What comes into your outdoor sanctuary? And go even deeper now that you're in that beautiful outdoor sanctuary, that beautiful healing space or meditation room. Now go deeply inside yourself. Right? Go right inside this space inside yourself, within that healing sanctuary. The healing sanctuary awakens alpha waves, and when you go deep inside yourself, theta waves begin. So you might find yourself lying down, for example, to go inside yourself. So I'm lying inside these crypts, inside like a sarcophagus. And then I'm going inside my body, inside your heart, inside a single point in your heart. And inside a 0 point inside that point. So like an open space right within a single point in your heart. So you're going deeply inside. And as you're there, very gently and easefully begin to allow yourself to get in touch with whatever the block is inside. And it needs healing. So just notice it. So for me, I'm bringing up traveling and family, right? It's just present. For you, you might be bringing up family matters or focus of your mind or work, or maybe something physical like that, dental or bones, or perhaps self-care. Or maybe you're dealing with grief and emotion. Maybe you're trying to breathe or balance your gut or your eating habits. Maybe you're dealing with brain and cognitive issues, or trying to live out what you desire, to be happy with you where you're in. Maybe you're looking for some new direction for the future, piecing things back together after the loss of a dear loved one. Or maybe just letting go and not questioning things, accepting things just as they are and receiving. Or maybe it's low energy you're dealing with, or stress or depression, or your to-do list. Maybe it is a computer system or a new computer. Maybe it's physical and mental health issues. Maybe it's feeling more spiritual, feeling more guided in your life. Or maybe it's a deep restorative sleep. Maybe it's just that. So you're very present here to that challenge. Very present and open. Healing. Healing it in all the ways that it opens to you. Find a way to manifest this part that needs healed as clearly as you can. Some way to connect with it. Now, this could take the form of a symbol, an image, a color, body sensation, maybe even a taste or smell. Or it could just be a sense of knowing that that part is there. So my challenge part, my travel part, travel and balance with family, mine arises as a being. It's more like a light being that has an infinite possibility and mightn't recognize it. It's not important to have a crystal clear image of that part of you, the part that needs healed. And the more clearly you can bring it into focus, just as it is, the easier it'll be for you to communicate with this part of yourself later on. At this stage of the meditation, however, you just do the best you can. All you really need to do is to connect with the sense of knowing that this part, this challenge, exists inside you. That's all. So you can feel it. Like I can feel this travel part that really wants to balance family and travel. Right? And so you're dealing with this part of you, whether it's physical or mental, emotional, or whether it's direction for the future, whether it's family or relational, whatever it happens to be. You're connecting with that part. You know that it exists inside you. You know that there's a challenge. You know that that challenge is present. So now I want you to begin to internally dialogue with it so that you can make further connection and get information. You can talk, ask it if it's willing to communicate with you. Just say, I'm here. You're not alone. I want to talk to you. Can I talk with you? Can I communicate with you? So if the answer is yes, so that's what my part is saying. My part's sort of turning into a transport device, like a light plane. So if the answer is yes, then proceed. And if the answer is no, ask this part what needs to take place to allow you to communicate with it. Just say, what do you need? If there's no answer, proceed as if the answer is yes. And then you might hear the answer in words. Or you may experience the answer in images, or in body senses and body sensations. Or it could be just a kind of a knowing. So just trust what you're sensing. Trust that you are receiving information about this part. And now dialogue with this part of yourself. So you could begin by saying, how are you feeling? How are you? And let this part express herself or himself or itself in whatever form it's able. So you might say, how long have you been here? Or what do you need? Right? So my light plane part is very bright and light, and it wants more freedom. It's wanted to travel for a long time. So it's very happy to be here. So ask your part, how are you feeling? Ask your physical part or your emotional part or your family part or your focus part or your gut part, your brain part, your direction for the future part, being happy where you are, not questioning. Ask that part, how are you feeling? Ask the low energy part how it's feeling. Ask the computer system, the deep sleep part, how is it feeling? What's it doing? What does it need? Continue to dialogue with this subconscious part of yourself to get closer to it, to understand why it's doing what it's doing. So next you could ask it, what role do you play in my life? What's your positive purpose for me? How do you serve me? So my travel part is a big connecting part. It's got a very positive purpose for reaching out. It serves me by giving me new ideas and new connections. And you might want to find your own specific questions for this part that needs healing. So take time on your own to explore. express your appreciation for this part. It's been working for you, this healing part. It deserves recognition and appreciation, even if it has caused you harm, often unintentionally. Right? So my travel part has often put me at a distance from family or friends, so it's not always easy to deal with. But appreciate it. Appreciate it for what it's trying to do, for trying to... So what's the part that your direction for the future, or your emotional part, or your breathing part, or your family part? See if you can appreciate it. Even the low energy part might be getting you to slow down and open up. Even the computer system may be telling you how to harmonize and integrate things. Time to live out what you desire is asking you to be present. So this is often a harder part, right? When sometimes we have anger at a part that's been blocking what we feel our purposes or our progresses. Sometimes it's hard to understand the reason for the block because it's been so self-protective or survival instinct. So have faith here that your subconscious, although it's misguided, has your best intentions at heart. So giving it appreciation for those intentions actually means that you're allowing it to open up. It doesn't mean you're condoning its use of its methods or continuing to use that. Now explain to this part how you're feeling. So even if your conscious mind realizes fully how this part has been blocking you or isn't working for you, don't expect your subconscious mind to understand it without careful explanation. Don't blame it. Just use all the communication skills you might use with another human being. Tell the part how its behavior has been affecting you. Right? So in my case, it could be that, oh, too much travel is not balanced. So you want to really explain to the block what it means to you and how the difficulties it's created are manifesting. So you want to be very clear with it. Now consider what you'd like to have happen in the best circumstance. Look at the original reason for the block. Do you still need it? Or actually has the need changed? What do you actually want your subconscious to do here? What do you want to happen? So just consider that for a moment. So in my case, I want a clear balance between travel and family. And I've actually invited my family to go on my first retreat with me, the first trip. So that's one thing that I actually want my subconscious to do to create that. So what do you want with your family or your focus? What's the ideal? What do you want with your physical, with the dental or the butt? What do you want with self-care or emotions and grief? How do you want to breathe? How do you want to eat? What do you want to do to balance your gut or to have brain cognitive issues working out? What's the time you want to live out, or how do you desire that happiness? Do you simply want to be present with what's here? How do you want your direction for the future to work out if you could piece everything back together? How do you really want to receive or accept things? What kind of energy level do you want? How would you like to deal with stress or depression? What if all your physical and mental health issues were resolved? How would you like to feel more spiritual? What if all your computer system were in order? What would it look like? And what would it be like to have really great sleep? What would that feel like too? What do you want it to look or feel like? So here, tell your subconscious what you really want. Now go straight to the core and ask it to help you to get what you need for yourself right now. Feel really good about it. Like I'm saying to my travel partner, look, I really want to balance it like this. I want to have my family with me on 50% of all the trips that I do, or whatever it is that you decide. Same with you. How do you want? What's the help you need? Tell it. Tell your subconscious what you want. If necessary, remind it that it's here to benefit you and that what it has been doing in the past no longer serves you. Let it know. Say, what you did in the past doesn't work. I need you to do this now. So give it directions. And now start to negotiate. Actually bargain with your subconscious. You can continue to use questions if that helps you. If you still need the role that this part plays inside you to be active, for example, for protection or survival. So for me, I need a travel part. I need a good, functioning, balanced travel part. Ask it if it can fulfill this role in a different way. One that no longer requires you to experience the negative side effects of the block. And if you no longer need this service, tell it that. Ask it if it would be willing just to stop doing it. So it could be really useful to say, what would it take you to stop blocking me? What would it take for you to stop blocking me? Ask it very directly. Or what needs to happen to make this change for the better? So come to a deal with your subconscious. Perhaps you need to put it in a time frame. Perhaps you need to say within a certain context in your life, if I do this, then you'll allow the block to dissolve. So it could be, if I eat this kind of healthy way, then you'll allow the block to dissolve. Or if I have this regular sleeping pattern before I go to sleep, then you'll allow the block to dissolve. Or if I spend this amount of time on my computer system, you'll allow you'll allow the block to dissolve. Or if I work on this physical and mental health issue, then it'll naturally open up my spiritual guidance. Or if I spend this amount of time feeling positive thoughts, then my low energy will shift to higher energy and deal with my stress and depression. Or if I really open to receiving, if I actually say to my friends, I am open to receiving whatever you want to give me, if they offer. Maybe that will open your ways. Or maybe you simply open to a new direction for the future. You actually visualize the pieces of your life coming back together like a jigsaw. Or maybe you take time positively to live out what you desire. You actually dedicate a certain amount of time each day to visualizing or feeling what you want to live out. Or maybe you spend some time every day on brain and cognitive issues. Or maybe you write up a very clear eating healthy diet that helps balance your gut on your fridge. Or maybe you spend 10 minutes breathing. Or maybe you take time to actually go through a course or group that helps you deal with grief. Or perhaps you consciously, at the beginning and end of each day, you work on self-care and reflect how well you've done on self-care each day. Or maybe you go to the Mayo Clinic and ask them about dental and bone. Or perhaps you check in with a physical therapist more often. Or maybe you really do have a burning ember focus and you create a painting of your burning ember so that and put it in your house so that every time you see it, you remember to focus. Or maybe you sit down carefully with each family member and help them to understand what you need. So if I do this, then you'll allow that block to dissolve. So really thank this part for its willingness to cooperate. Again, treat it like the most honored and respected friend. So my part looks like a light plane, like a spacecraft built of light. So I've got to work with that part and I can see it now. And I'm really grateful for it. So really thank it. And slowly prepare to close this healing practice, this meditation on healing the block by asking your subconscious part if there's anything else that it needs to let you know. Tell it any final things you'd like to tell it before you complete this meditation. You may want to make plans to check back with this subconscious material at a specified time in the future. So I could say to my time travel plane, I'll meet you every morning before I go on this tour, just to check in with you. So do something simple like that. Make plans or make a promise or make an agreement to check back in with this subconscious material. Actually state, when are you going to meet? When are you going to do this again? To see if this transformation is still working or if there are any unforeseen problems that have subsequently arisen. Now I want you to breathe a long connected breath in and a long connected breath out. No gaps. And then continue a second one. Long connected breath in, long connected breath out. Really grounding this, starting to stretch and move the body. Long connected breath in, the last breath. Hold it for a brief moment and then long connected breath out. And feel into the fact that right now you're in contact with the entire cosmos. And that equally you're in contact with Gaia, with the earth and all her elements, the water, the air, the earth, the fire, the space. And then equally feel you're connected to all the space around your house or apartment. And in the space in this room. and then the space and sensations in your body. And then right in your heart. And then in the center of your heart. And then that 0 point of infinite possibility right in the core of your heart. And as you slowly open your eyes, ground this meditation by putting it into words, by writing it down or talking about it or putting it in the chat. So really ground it so that any insights that you've received from this practice, that you can really put them into practice in daily life. You can apply this practice to any problem or difficulty, anything you've got, any issue that needs transformation, any healing, just by simply changing what you choose to work on. So allow yourself to find a way to manifest the issue or the problem through sensation. That's the first step. So you bring the issue to mind, you feel it in the body. Then you find a symbol or a body sensation, a feeling, sound, or voice in your head. Or a sense, simply a sense of knowing that that part is there in you and that healing is present and it needs healing. And then you begin your dialogue with that part of you and continue with the rest of the practice, just as we have here. So as you slowly open your eyes, I want to thank you for this beautiful practice, this healing practice we do together. And I always thank Garth for looking after us and Humanities team for the wonderful job they do, and for Kevin too, and for raising our vibration. So I'm going to spend a few minutes now, just as you open, and we might go in the same order just to see if there's anything present for anyone. I love putting Connie on the spot, but it doesn't have to be Connie. If anybody would like to share in any way, and if nobody's got any sharing, then I will ask Connie, because I love finding out what goes on in that very remarkable brain of hers. So
I can go.
You can go?
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Away you go. Yeah.
I'm definitely holding mine in my chest and around muscles around my lungs, and was just really surprised at how tight that felt during the manifestation phase.
So it was very tighter than you expected.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel now?
It's still there. It's still a little tight, but I have a plan.
Oh, what's the plan?
I'm building on something that I was working on earlier in the week. Is when I have all these distracting thoughts and things that kind of want to take me away and avoid doing the things I need to do, just to actually physically write them down on a little piece of paper and literally put them in a jar on the shelf, instead of just trying to mentally do that, to actually physically do it.
Fantastic. I love that. Love that. What a great piece of advice. I totally support that. Great. And I think sometimes just by writing them down, getting them out there, just that simple move is it's very positive. You sometimes see it there, and it's like easier to actually be open to it and to allow it to come through. Lovely, lovely, Susan. Thank you. That was great. Connie, you can go now. And Susan, thank you for sharing first. Very grateful indeed.
Well, thanks, Stephen, for the practice. As always, it was lovely. It's always lovely to practice with you. So, I go back over and over again to this inner child that is trying to protect me by kind of clenching up anytime it thinks something might be scary, And I just find it's almost like no matter what it is I'm dealing with, if I can reassure that little inner child that, we've got resources and we've got knowledge now, and you know, you're okay, and you don't have to take all this on yourself. But she's pretty persistent, so I need to I need to stick with her and do that. I liked the guidance to go back and kind of repeat and keep talking to her about, you know, you can listen to these family members without fearing that your whole world's gonna fall apart, you know, just because they're having issues, you know.
Totally.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think what you remind me of a book by James Clear, I think it is, called Atomic Habits, where he says, you know, little things done often with satisfaction. So it's like if you were to visit your inner child regularly and dialogue with her, you'd build up such a deep, dependable level of support and security and safety that she'd know she was fine. But of course, if you don't visit her, then she feels a little neglected. And I found that, you know, throughout my life and throughout most of the people that I've taught over the years, that when they develop that habitual visiting their inner child, their self, that it's so true, so beautifully said. Yeah, if you develop that relationship, then in fact you are developing a relationship. It's a very real relationship that actually exists. Yeah, beautifully said, Connie. Beautifully
Well,
said.
thank you so much.
Oh, I love practicing these with you too. That was really great. Very lovely. Who else would like to share on any level? And I do notice in the chat, Louise said, thank you. I felt angels embracing me. I ended up working on 2 physical issues, sleep and my future. So Louise, thank you for that. That's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, anyone else that would like to share? Wendy.
Because I'm dealing with a physical issue, I got physical recommendations of specific treatments to do for every day for months, you know, a long time. It's like, oh, really, a long time. Okay. And so I appreciate that. And I know, and that I've already taken some correct steps to help the problem. Things will continue to get better. So
beautiful.
Hopeful.
Beautiful. That's hopeful is great.
Yeah.
It is lovely. And I do think, you know, tying in with what Connie's said, that when you start to work on something consistently, you know, it is very helpful. I remember when I was in Dubai just recently, I had a client who was suffered from a physical problem, and he had sort of neglected it. And I said, okay, let's just work on it. And we worked on it for, you know, 20 minutes. And he felt a lot better. And I said, imagine if you did that 20 minutes we just did now every day. And it hadn't occurred to him to do it repeatedly, you know, because he usually waited to go to a therapist, and that might happen once a month. So yeah, you're right. You're right. What a wonderful solution. I mean, because these apply for all of us, right? Because what you've just said applies to all our physical issues and problems. When we work on them, quite often we have a physical issue and we think, oh my God, and then we wait and we go to see a doctor, and then there's somebody gives us something which might, but if you make it a lifelong solution, then you work with it very gently over a long period of time, and your body really loves that. So thank you for sharing that. It's very wise. Very all right. Anybody else?
I'll share because mine came totally out of left field. Mine presented as a snake, just withering all around in my lower back and left hip, which I've had a lot of problems with. And when we started the dialogue, it started talking to me. It was very angry. And it turns out that it said that it was, I had had an abortion and it never wanted to leave. And it was really angry with me for doing that. and it wanted to hurt me. And I had always been, whenever I wanted to like get rid of, this pain in my back or anything, I just want it gone. And it was always the same issue. And so it just kept digging in more and more and more. So I started talking about, well, maybe we could just be friends. Maybe you don't have to go anywhere. You could just, become like one of my guides and teachers, and we could just have a conscious agreement as opposed to like a physical one. And by the end, it had turned into this energetic being that was like really huge and came out. And at one point I said, well, can you come down so we could still talk? And the ultimate answer was that, no, you need to not be so small. You need to get bigger.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, I love that. Got little chills from that. That's so cool.
Isn't that trippy? Yeah. I thought,
That's
wow.
That's a wow. You need to be bigger. Yeah, stop waiting for me. Just come and be big with me.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Totally not at all like I was, I had no expectations, but had nothing to do with focus at all.
That's brilliant. Well, might be being focused on being big.
Yeah.
Being your big self, big expand. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So I just thought that would be something, because a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be about this or that, but this had nothing to do with anything like that. You never know what to expect.
Magical.
Yeah.
I just love that.
So thank you.
A great wisdom. I love it. Thank you. All righty. Anybody else just before we finish? And if we haven't, then I hope this has been a very all-encompassing, opening to the healing dialogue, which I think is really, really crucial. When we get the opportunity to, like Cindy was just saying, to dialogue with that part of ourselves that is blocked and needs healing. And I was like, Cindy, my one, I'm just talking to you about what actually comes up when it comes up. And I wasn't expecting a light plane when I was thinking of this travel issue. So I was really delighted. I was thinking, oh, actually, I've never thought about that before. So thank you for all of you, because I do think we contribute also to each other's healings. There is a collective power in this beautiful group here that I'm always aware of, and I'm always in awe of. It's almost as if you're providing me with solutions to my own questions. So I really love that. I also, love the fact that what many of you have said, that once you start whatever it is, whether you're writing down something on the piece of paper, just like Susan was saying, and putting it and making a conscious effort to do something. If you do these things regularly, they have the most life-changing, possibilities, because you're actually starting to put in a habit, what I often call them quantum habits, that actually affect the quantum field. Because instead of you just doing it once and then going, oh, okay, that was a kind of interesting thing, you actually do it regularly and something shifts, because there's this regular, consistent, deep, habitual, relationship that you start to develop with the universe in your own way and with your subconscious. So I think the power of working with your own healing in this very, dedicated and consistent manner has really powerful outcomes, much, much more powerful than you might be able to see right this moment. But as you start to put them into practice, they are really, really enriching and bring you a lot of beauty and a lot of self-care, since a number of people have mentioned it. So everybody, thank you very much. Thank you to Garth, always Garth, for administering this. Thank you to Humanity's team for the incredible platform that we all share. And thank you to Raising Our Vibration and Kevin. And don't forget to check out our app and book if you've only just come to this for the first time. It's the ROV app, which has lots of meditations on it. And we look forward to seeing you next week. I will be I'll be in the Blue Mountains of Canada running a retreat. So my apologies that I won't be able to be with you next week. So I got a busy schedule up ahead, but a very happy one. So I get to look after lots of wonderful souls like yourself. So do pass this on to your family and friends, that you too can have a dialogue with your inner subconscious, and you can develop a connection with the inner child, or with the habits that you need to resolve, or the focus in your life you need to change, or the shifts you want to make, just by simply having a dialogue with that part of yourself that represents the block. Because I think it's a very powerful practice indeed. All right, so much love, infinite blessings, incredible wisdom to you in your day, and have a light-filled day full of the most magical things and the most amazing blessings. All righty. See you all, and much, much love.